What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. I'm one half of the podcast, Jelani Brown. Of course, got my guest with me, or not guest, sorry. Got my co-host with me again today. Thaddeus Bill, how you doing?
What's good, man? Back again with another show. About to ramp it back up. Football season, but we got a special guest on the show today, so let's get to it.
Exactly, yeah. I was saying you the special guest, don't know why, but we definitely got a special guest on the show that's coming in. Very excited to talk to him. Young man, had him a great first year at Rutgers. Definitely looking to build on that. We'll ask him a lot, of course, about just growing up. He played at a pretty famous high school coming up. Also, just his first year at Rutgers, kind of team expectations, personal expectations, landscape around NCAA football right now, and then we'll finish up with some hot topics, talking about some crazy things people saying and doing NFL, some contracts, a lot of other things. But before we get into that, of course, gotta let the tape roll.
Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! We win!
Don't you open your mouth about the best, or I'm gonna set it for you real quick. LOB.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Lewis gets it to LeBron for three for the win. Yes! LeBron James at the buzzer.
Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
What was your mindset when you stepped in the batter's box?
Go yard. I mean, I'm a pitcher. Why not swing as hard as I can? I got nothing to lose.
It's nothing to man above. Don't put you in situations that you can't handle. Instead of saying, why me? They're saying this is what he want me to do. And, Cleveland! This is for you!
The way we approach the game is the same way we approach life. You do the right thing. You make the right play. Make the right play. And in life, it's the same thing. What do you feel in your heart is the right thing to do? And you do that. It seems so simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the hardest things to do. And I think it's just that.
Welcome to
What?
The game. To me.
All right. And we're back, and we will be welcoming our special guest, Mr. Robert Longerbeam. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are y'all? Thanks for having me.
We're doing good, man. Appreciate you spending your time with us. I know you're real busy. Coach Yano got y'all busy, especially before camp. So appreciate you having us hopping on the show with us.
Thank you
for sure.
For having me.
Yes, sir. So like that said, I know it's busy. Football is right around the corner. Things about to get ramped up soon. But again, appreciate you for your time. First thing first, we always ask our guests, especially first-time guests, kind of, what the game means to me. Of course, star cornerback at Rutgers football, and I'm pretty sure some other sports have been a part of your life. I was actually watching a little Rutgers football thing that they did on you when you went back to TCU, and you got a big sports family in general. So kind of just like what the game of football or just any sports at all just kind of meant to you in your journey.
Yeah, so growing up, my dad has always been a coach since I was born. So, I was always around football, and it was always a big part of me. But when I was younger, I was kind of the smallest kid. So my mom wasn't really fast to get me into football. She would have me in soccer, non-contact sports. Mm-hmm. And it was fun, but I always had a passion for football because my dad, my older brother playing it. My mom was always the team mom. So once I really got into it and started playing, and my mom felt like I was at an age where I was able to play now, she thought it was pretty good. So then it's just always been that main focus of mine, the big dream of mine. But then once I was able to really have a chance and the opportunity to do it, it's just something I couldn't turn down.
For sure. Like you said, well, me and Dad, of course, we play football. We play football together. Like I said, we kind of know what it means in general to us. Obviously, we're making a sports podcast now, showing, like I said, that brotherhood, and just it's been a big part of our lives and the way we grew up as well. One thing I guess people are going to learn about you now is that you went to TC Williams, of course, really, really famous school. Remember the Titans, so I know it's a bunch of history behind that. And a few things I know you got to play for your dad at TC Williams. And also another fun fact, didn't know, crazy fact, but you guys weren't able to play on Friday nights because the stadium's behind someone's house. So I guess with the lighting wasn't able. Yeah, like kind of just tells about that and just what it was like playing during the day instead of just that Friday night experience.
Yeah. So when my dad first got the opportunity to take the job and move us up from Florida to Virginia, like we found out, like grew up, we watched Remember Times all the time. Like that was a big football movie, one of ever. So like that school was so rich, like walking around the building, you have shrines up of the movie and all that. So like the movie was a big deal. And like being able to play with that legacy, it was like big, but like it was pressure behind it because like what football means to them. So that was real important, and it made us take football a little bit more serious. It made us play harder because so much memories and so much pride in this football. And then like with the Saturday games, it was kind of a big adjustment because coming from Florida, Friday night lights was big. Watching my brother play under the lights. But then once I found out like they never had lights at the stadium, only time lights they brought the lights in one time, and they were like transportable lights. So it was like crazy that they did have lights, and it's because the stadium was built like backed up along some houses, like the houses are stadium. So those people never really wanted the lights because they felt like it'd be too late, the lights too bright. So that it was a big petition, but they finally got lights the year after I left. They built some, so it was a big difference. Like growing up watching Friday night lights to having to play early morning Saturdays, like 10 a.m. games. It was a big difference.
That's tough.
Yeah, 10 a.m. 10
a.m.
is
game.
not
I didn't even. Oh, hold on. That's like I didn't know it was 10.
That felt like rec league, honestly.
It was crazy because I used to play Pop Warner where you had to get up early mornings. So then once I'm like, dang, we in high school playing early morning Saturdays. Only time we playing on Fridays if we're traveling to somebody else's stadium. So it was a big adjustment.
Yeah. Well, just real quick too, if I throw it over to Dad, just kind of wanted to ask. I know you just said you're from Florida. Obviously, we know kind of like that's one of the top states that athletes just come out of. Period. So, kind of what was like, if you did notice any type of difference, like football in Florida versus like when you got up to Virginia, kind of like what was like that level, that difference, like with the athletes a little bit different, a little bit faster, like
like that's the big difference right there. The speed, like everybody in Florida fast, from the offensive lineman to best receiver on the field. So it was just the speed adjustment. Everything's happening a lot. Like I was able to see the game better when I got the VA, I would say. Slow the game down and having my speed, like I think that was a big part of my game in high school, like being able to be fast and make some plays with my speed.
Next question I got for you is why Rutgers? I know your recruiting process had picked up a little bit later on. You were kind of like a late bloomer. You were playing out of position too because your high school needs you to do everything, and you originally committed to Temple. Why Rutgers? I've heard a little bit about maybe it was a position coach that went over to Rutgers, but you decommitted from Temple and you were committed to Rutgers the next day. And you were early enrollee, so I know you had to make the decision quick. So why Rutgers and Coach Schiano?
So yeah, my freshman year, my sophomore year, I had broke my wrist back-to-back years, so recruiting was kind of slow for me. And then my junior year, like going into my junior year, I got an offer from a coach at Temple, and it was like he believed in me early, and so it was like I did, and I committed kind of early in my recruiting process once it got going. So then a few days before, like that month leading into signing day, early signing day, he flipped to Rutgers. And at first I was going to stay committed to Temple and ride it through. But then I got on the phone with Coach and Coach Yano, and me and him hit it off. Like, he was a great coach, even better person. So, like, I felt at home instantly. So the flip just felt natural.
I respect it. And did anything like with his pedigree at Rutgers have anything to do with it? He coached at Rutgers when they had their success with Ray Rice. Then he went to the league, and then he was at Ohio State, and he came back to Rutgers. So did that have anything to factor with it?
Of course, he's a great coach. He has a great mind for football, and like he knows winning. Like that's what he wants to do. He knows how to win. He knows how to bring a culture to a program that can help win. So once me and him had a talk, it was ideal. Like it was best fit for me, and I knew it instantly.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So next thing as I kind of played on it a little bit, about being from Florida. Everybody there is athlete. Everybody there is fast. You pretty much do everything. So we know, like that also said for TC Williams, you had to play and do pretty much everything. Play quarterback, wide receiver. I think a little bit of DB as well, which of course is what you play full time now. But kind of, I guess, what was that transition like from? Because sometimes high school, college a little bit, like you'll come in maybe playing maybe a position or two, but then you kind of got to get stick to where you at. So what was that transition for you like from going like quarterback, receiver, or just athlete in general over to DB full time?
So the transition was kind of different because growing up I always played on offense. That was my main focus. Like I always liked having the ball in my hands when I was younger. But then in high school, like my senior year, I played both sides of the ball, really didn't come off the field a lot. So DB kind of grew on me, and I felt like everybody wants to play receiver coming out of high school, and DB you can make money there. You can, if you're good enough, you can play for a long time. So me and one of my coaches had a talk, and he thought DB would be a good fit for me. And then when I got to Rutgers, I was at receiver for a little while, but then we had some depth, and they switched me over. And the rest was history. Like it was just a perfect fit for me.
Nah, that's good, man. Sometimes, coaches know best. Like Trayvon Diggs, when he got to Bama, he played receiver first. There's another guy, I forgot his name, Quentin Dunbar. He was a receiver at Florida, and then when he got to the Redskins, he switched to DB. He was pretty good there too. So sometimes coaches know best, but it's good to, you found your home. And I know during your high school career, you was kind of natural to you because you got like opening MVP at one of the opening regionals, correct?
Yeah, I went to one DB camp before that and had one session with him, and it was just like a natural fit for me at DB. So yeah, it wasn't really like something I actually practiced. I had one session, and we had the opening because I didn't want to just go out there to the opening,
Yeah,
just free balling out. So yeah, I had one little camp and then went to the opening and won DB MVP, and I'm like, yeah, I can stick with this.
So what are like those top 3 things you feel like you may need as like a DB? Like, because we had some wide receivers on the show maybe a week ago and kind of asked them top 3 things you need as a wide receiver. So DB wise, like what are those top 3 things you feel like every DB needs to add to their bag and just have, as a player?
So big thing, you gotta have self-confidence because you guard some of the best athletes in the world. So at DB, like sometimes you're gonna have to give up a few passes, but as long as you stay mentally tough and keep your head strong, then you'll be good. Another thing is stay good eyes and discipline. Like without your eyes or having discipline at DB, you won't be able to cover some of these guys because when they're real shifty, real fast, play bad technique, it's over from this jump. So I think those 3 things.
Yes, sir. And then before I throw it back to that, another one that just popped in my head, just kind of wondering, because I'm a little bit like you. When I was younger, I played quarterback, I played receiver. I like having the ball in my hand. When I got to high school, went over to Duluth with Dad. They had me playing both, but then switched me over to DB fully. And a lot of people say, that's probably the hardest position to play. A lot of people can argue maybe it's not. Dad probably say it's maybe quarterback. Who knows? But would you say DB probably is the hardest position to play on the field, or if not, what position do you think may be the hardest?
In my biased opinion, I had this hardest position.
I feel that as well, 100%.
Out of respect to DBs though, for me, I would say obviously I'm biased. I say quarterback's one, but I say DB too. You got to cover people while you're backpedaling and they're going full speed. You got to be able to cut on the dime and all that. So. Yeah, it's tough, and you gotta have self-confidence. You're not gonna win every rep. Somebody's gonna catch a ball on you. So
exactly, that's the biggest thing. Like you said, that self-confidence. That number one, that makes a lot of sense. Like it's literally they always say football next play up, but that's literally like next play up. Like you can get Moss next play, but come back might have to catch a pick or gotta tackle a running back coming at you. So you never know. You never know what you're gonna face or what you're gonna get. So like I said, I feel like it's number one. So that's out number 2-1 right now on the show. So it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah. Next question I got is biggest difference between high school and Power 5. Obviously, that's an obvious question, but coming from Florida, going to Virginia, and then going to Power 5, you're not playing FCS, you're not playing Group of 5 in the Conference USA. You're playing with the big dogs. You're on ESPN and stuff like that. So, what's the biggest difference between high school and jumping to that level in the Big Ten?
I think one thing is like you go from high school where you're kind of the man to going to college. You have to really work for anybody to know who you are. Like that's a shock for anybody coming from high school to college. Then another thing is like that speed. Like you go from high school, maybe being the fast on your team, fast on the field at times, to everybody's fast in the Big Ten. Like everything's happening fast. So I think the speed adjustment and really having to know your job, and you can't just wild out and do anything. That's a big adjustment. Like you have to know your assignments. So I think that's the biggest difference for me from high school to Power 5.
And can you agree that, like, you know, obviously you said in high school, most of the guys that go to that level, they're the man. But when you're in college and you're at that level, everybody's good. You're pretty much all the same. It's like the little things, intangibles and stuff that separates you. The things of being coachable, watching film, like it's the little things that separates you, correct?
Yes, it's definitely little things because everybody, to get to that level, you have to have some type of skill. So everybody's really on that same skill level. It's just what are you doing extra? How are you listening to a coach? So it's the little things that really play a big factor.
What would you say, like maybe those things that you feel like you do that separates yourself from maybe some of your other teammates, you know, that have been there or even coming in?
Coming from a football family, it's just like I'm just used to tough coaching a little bit. And my dad's always been my biggest supporter and biggest critic. So I think that tough coaching, the tough schedule, like I've always been around him. There's nothing else you do besides football in our household growing up. So I think that's something that helped me going to college.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then like you just said, kind of segued a little bit into the next question I was going to ask. So it's kind of like thoughts on, like, you know, obviously that I just said it is going to be a difference between going to high school and then going, you know, playing Power 5, like you said, on TV pretty much every single week. So like, what were some of those things that you feel like if you knew as a freshman coming in, obviously you're not going to know everything and, you know, be able to adjust right quickly on the fly, or maybe you can, but just like, what were some of those things that if you knew as a freshman, you would change about it and come in, you know, more prepared?
Okay, so the biggest thing is learning how to take care of my body. Like as a young guy, you know, you feel like you're young, everything's good, like your body's gonna be good, never give out on you. But then when you get to college, like bigger people, faster people, so like you have to really take care of your body at a different level than you were before. And what you were doing before isn't enough. You gotta do a little more, a little extra so you can keep your body at that same level. So learning how to take care of my body was a thing that I wish I knew as a freshman.
And then kind of sort of on the same topic, but what are some of the things kind of like that you may have taken, like, or even if you have like certain players, whether they be on, you know, opposite side of the ball or defensive side of the ball, that you may kind of model your game after, like, you know, any specific DBs that either you've been in the league now or of past that you kind of like taking little pieces and bits and kind of added it to your game, added to your repertoire to make you a little bit better?
My favorite corner has always been Jalen Ramsey, just because the way he plays, his swagger, his confidence, and the way like he takes pride in man-to-man coverage. Like he's a big influence in the way I play DB and want to play DB, and the way he's looked at. So I say Jalen Ramsey.
Florida State boy, I know that makes you happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, not mad at that. Even though he did the Jaguars dirty, but it's all good.
When he got a ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly, could have got one.
Can't get no rings in Jacksonville. That's number one. That's not happening. So he did the right thing. He made the right move.
But yeah, for you, you know, your freshman year, it started off a little slow. You probably weren't playing as much as you were, but probably game 4, game 5, you started getting a lot more reps and you were on the field consistently pretty much from there. So your best game of your freshman year and your hardest cover, because you were in the slot for the majority of the time, so you had to cover people like Jahan Dotson. Even at Ohio State, Smith and Jigma, he was the number 3 last year, so he was in the slot with Olave and Garrett Wilson being on the outside. So your best game of your freshman year, you feel like your breakout performance and your hardest cover. It could be a tight end too. It doesn't have to be a receiver. It could be a tight end because some tight ends get active.
I say best game was probably either I'd probably say either Michigan State or Penn State. Coverage-wise, I made some good plays in coverage. So probably say that those two games. Then hardest guard, a lot of good receivers in the Big Ten. But the receiver I guarded the most, I say was Jared from Maryland. Guarded him everywhere. But he was a good receiver, and they target him a lot. So I'd probably say Jared.
Okay. Did you ever get to go against David Bell from Purdue, or was he hurt by then?
Nah, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't playing against us.
Okay.
Yeah. So next thing, kind of, I want to segue into, like I said, we obviously, talk about, best game of your freshman year, but like I said, camp's right around the corner. Things about to start to ramp up. And obviously, new year reset. And it's a Big Ten football is, one of the bigger and better, conferences to come. So kind of like, what are those team expectations that you guys may have been talking about, coming into this new year? Obviously, like I said, you got some big dogs in your conference, and Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, like you've already named a few. So what are these team expectations that you guys kind of have in mind for this year coming in? And then, like I said, even for you, some personal ones that you want to hit on and achieve coming into the year as well, coming to your sophomore year.
So team expectations, I would say, just be us. Like we're a team that we're just gonna try to play harder, be more locked in, and be tougher than other teams. So I think just staying true to us and being who we are. We're not trying to beat teams at their game. We just want to be the best we can be. So just really being us and staying true to ourselves and playing how we know we're capable of playing. And some personal goals for me this year. I say just improve on any stat I had last year. So I just want to improve on last year and to be available and make plays whenever the team needs me, really.
One quick question before we move on. Is there any more punt return and kick return in your future, or are those days over with? Because I know you're an athlete, and I know they had to see your film. Like, maybe we could put him back there 1 or 2 times to see what he got. Maybe take one to the crib. Or are those days over with, or?
I don't know. Who knows?
That's what's up.
I say,
I mean,
to put a little bug in coaching.
When you got a guy like that, like yourself back there, I mean, you might as well try it out. And I know you be telling him, Coach, like I could let Booby spin. Let me spin one time. So yeah.
Maybe one day.
So, yeah, I feel it. Like you said, that confidence. When you know you're an athlete and you know you're dangerous with the ball in your hand, it's like, why not? Like, why not?
Yeah, why not?
So Thad trying to put a bug in Coach ear. Hopefully he heard that. Hopefully he's watching. So I said, make something shake and you can get back there this year.
I got you.
But next thing we wanted to move on to was like just kind of like hot topics. Something like your thoughts on a few things that may be going on, around just NFL wise, and just football in general. So this is one of the things, of course, I know everyone saw. It's been circulating this past week with Lamar Jackson, DC. No one knows which DC it is, but maybe we can probably guess, maybe think it could be someone in their conference. Who knows? But pretty much just said that he's a unique talent, but if he has to pass it, they're not going to win the game. He can win MVP 12 times, and he'll never be a number one as a quarterback. So just kind of like your thoughts. Obviously, like we talked about, you were a quarterback, an athletic quarterback, African-American quarterback, and just, the things that, are seen like obviously African-American quarterbacks are seen differently, more so as athletes, more than, being able to think and use their arm, be pocket passers, things of that nature, the same old that we're tired of hearing. So kind of like, what was your thoughts when you first saw this, first heard this, and kind of like, what do you agree, disagree, just like your thoughts in general?
And before you go real quick, Rob, I know you're from Florida. Y'all all love Lamar, so I know y'all kind of tired of the disrespect. I am too.
To me personally, like Lamar, since he got in the league, he's proven he's a top quarterback in the league, arguably top 5. Nobody can run like him. He makes great passes. So the slander is getting out of this world to me. Like, it's time to stop it and just respect this man for his game and the plays he makes. Because I don't know a lot of teams that really stop Lamar. So I don't even know why we're still having this conversation. He's
Nah, go ahead. Oh no, I was saying I agree with it, man. You know, like every time people see a black quarterback succeeding, and it's different, everybody expects every quarterback to be a drop back quarterback. You know, if they have a different system like they have in Baltimore, or they run around like Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, they love to criticize them. So I don't know why they can't just let him be unique, and they expect every quarterback to win the Super Bowl in year 2 like Brady. It just doesn't work like that. The NFL is hard, so I don't get the slander either.
Yeah, I think he's good at what he does.
You know, he brings his team to wins, brings them to victories. Even last year, he was missing damn near half his team. Like running backs was going down left and right before training camp came in. And he really didn't have, or has never really had, a number one receiver. I mean, they try to make Hollywood Brown that, but you know, a bunch of drop balls each game doesn't really make you a great number one. And they say he's obviously had pretty good defense to rely on, but like you said, just tired of just the dumb criticism of the things that he can't do, more so putting him down than bringing him back up. Like he's 24 years old, an MVP of this league, one of the top quarterbacks easily in my opinion. So it's just just dumb to be saying. And eventually it's going to have to get eventually that these claims are going to have to be put to rest. Hopefully he does eventually end up winning a Super Bowl. But to say you can win MVP 12 times and then still not be a number one as a quarterback, that's the wildest saying I think I've heard all year. So
it's crazy.
I don't know. But from one quarterback to another, kind of want to talk about Kyler Murray's situation. I'll take this down first, but obviously, he became one of the higher paid players after signing his extension. But the thing this week that's been said or he's been clowned about is he has to have 4 hours of mandatory film session. So obviously, like you said, you've been around football your entire life. Your dad coached you. I'm sure you had way longer film sessions in one day versus him having to do this for a whole week to prepare for a game. So kind of like, what were just your thoughts on just hearing that part of the contract? That as a football player, you're playing at the highest level, playing the most important position, but they have to make you study for 4 hours in order to be prepared for games, day or Sunday in and Sunday out. So what was your thoughts on that?
My thoughts were like, I don't believe it still. Like, I don't think he performs at the level he performs at or gets the contract he gets if he wasn't, you feel me, studying and doing the extra and being a leader off the field, because I don't think you pay a dude $230 million if they're not doing what's right. You feel me? So I really don't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm 100% with him. For them to pay him that much money, $230 million, and him to not watch film. Like, I know Kyler's a great athlete. His instincts are second to none. I don't know how he does it at 5'9", 5'10", but if you think he's that talented to go out there every Sunday and just freestyle every Sunday, not knowing what coverage they're gonna run, not knowing what they're gonna roll to or when they're gonna send their certain zone blitzes and stuff, I just don't see it happening, because obviously they've done worse. Like November, they always fall off heading into the playoffs to where they don't make the playoffs or they get smacked by the Rams in the first round. But I don't think he's had the success he's had in the NFL to make this much money by not watching film. I just don't believe it. And like the way him and his dad are, I kind of feel like they're that kind of family. Like I think he's been watching film since he was like in high school. Like not heavy, but he watched film when he came home. So I'm not really buying the comments. And they took the clause out, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. Like you said, maybe like a media type thing. They probably was tired of getting all the exposure about it. But like you said, like no one's investing that much money into a quarterback and just feel like they just out there free, just freestyling, because like Rob said, like you said, that like athletes that or being athletic is only going to take you so far. Like you can't, like everyone's athletic. Like you said, Robert, in college, like everybody do the same thing. Like he's facing the greatest athletes. Like they're at the highest level. There's no way he just out there just like relying on his athleticism each week. So like I was kind of just like shocked by it as well. I'm like, that's kind of dumb, but not even thinking it was real. I honestly thought it was fake the first few times I heard it, but all these, of course, ESPN shows kept talking about it and stuff and showing it. But like y'all said, I don't agree. Like you said, they took the clause out, so gotta mean something. But yeah, there's just no way. That's something true, something real. But that does that. But next thing I kind of just want to talk about last few things before we let you go, Rob. Just to get back on topic of NCAA NIL, of course, a very very new and big thing. It's been in place about a year and a half now. Obviously, you guys are now able to make a little bit of money off of your name, image, and likeness. So, kind of like, what are your thoughts around it? In general, like, what did you think when obviously coming in college, like them introducing the NIL? I don't know if you could talk about it or not, if you have any deals or any teammates that have some deals, or kind of like the things that you've seen, maybe either heard a program or help a program. So kind of like just what's your thoughts on the NIL in general being introduced in the NCAA?
To me, it's a cool thing that players can benefit off who they are and their name, because fans like who they like, and so it's a nice way for them to make some extra money while they're in college. Me personally, I haven't been really working on NIL deals. Been trying to stick to football and make plays, because once you make plays on the field, then that'll take care of everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really just focused on making plays right now, and that I feel like that helped me get myself out there. And so I haven't been paying too much attention to NILs and stuff like that.
I do want to ask you one question. Like, I agree with everything with NIL. Players deserve to get paid because the schools like Bama and other schools, they benefit off the players winning all these championships, bringing all this money to the school, and they don't really get anything. Some schools, some people do get paid because Calvin Ridley was driving like a little Ford truck when I was in high school, and I was like, he's from Broward, so I know he can't afford that.
Yeah.
But like, the only problem I have with the NIL is, and I'm pretty sure you might agree with this, you might disagree, Rob. Some of the guys getting 200 and 6 figures at that age, 18 and 19, it could bring like complacency. Some guys get that money and be like, man, I don't got to put in that extra work. I don't got to go to the jug machine. I don't got to stay for extra film. I just feel like some guys, like, it could get to their head and they get that money and they forget their purpose of why they came to the school, which was to go to the league or, go to school for free. And I just feel like that might hurt some players. But, some people that have that vision, they're locked in. They're not going to let anything steer them off that path. They'll be fine. But some of the guys getting them $200,000 or maybe even $500,000, they're like, man, I don't even need this no more. So how do you feel about that?
I think it's all about how your perspective is and what you really want to do. Like, if money is all you want, then that might satisfy you. But if you know what your end goal is and you want to get to that next level, then that's all good, but your main focus will stay your main focus. So I think it can hurt some people, and I think some people it benefits because it gives you a way to help provide for your family when you're coming from certain situations. So it's bonuses, but it's also downfalls to it too.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm kind of like I'm hoping like with certain people coming from certain places, maybe they get these deals and like that makes them more hungry to like, all right, a little bit of money in my pocket now. Like now I got to for real, like, put in the work to get to that next level, which is, make the NFL, make a roster and, make a name for myself and get that, first contract, second contract, third contract, which most players don't never get to. So definitely, hopefully, like I said, with a lot of people, hopefully is doing that, for a lot of these guys. But like that saying, like kind of like with some of these big names, like who knows, like I said, it may just provide complacency and they may not be willing to put in the work. But if you can, like I said, talk about it at all, or talk to it at all, kind of like how have you seen it, if at all, like maybe change the shape of, maybe you guys as locker room? Has it helped like, help not really certain guys, but has it helped like the team as a whole? Like there's certain guys like maybe looking out for other guys, or there's certain, coaches, I guess, even looking out for certain guys, like trying to help them kind of get those deals, or is the main thing like for everybody just kind of, stay together, be one, like you said, if it comes, and let's ball out and go win us a Big Ten championship.
Yeah, right now, the main thing is the main thing for everybody. Like, if guys get deals and stuff, everybody supports it. Like, there's no hate going on. It's all love and support from each other. But I think everybody's main focus is on having a good season right now. So I don't even think nobody's really worried about the NIL deals and nothing like that. We're just focused on having a good season and doing what we're capable of doing.
For sure.
Great answer.
Yep. Then kind of a few things. Like I said, we have a few other questions, maybe a little game at the end. But I kind of just wanted to ask you. I know you already said Jalen Ramsey, so he's probably going to be number one. But do you feel like your top 3 cornerbacks in the game right now?
Top 3 corners in the game right now. So I say Jalen, Lattimore, and I say Howard
Lattimore.
at Miami.
Okay. What was that third one?
Howard.
Howard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a solid 3. Lattimore is underrated to some people, but he's been consistent since he got in the league, and he always gives Mike Evans hell. So
I like the way he plays.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just a little biased because for obvious reasons on my shirt, but yeah, I don't like Lattimore at all. I don't like him at all, but it's whatever. But yeah, man. I think like I said, that kind of does it, man. I really again appreciate you for being on, talking your early journey, what you guys are trying to accomplish now, and just giving you like your ideas and thoughts on some of the things going on right now in the world of football. I guess real quick before we get out of here, definitely just, to kind of give you the floor, let everybody know where they can follow you at. Just some last words, like I said, kind of the things we should expect out of Rutgers football, and even out of you personally seeing you on the field this year. So again, like I said, appreciate it, and kind of just want to give you the floor to do that.
All right, so you can follow me on Instagram at Robert Longerbeam 7, full name. Twitter is Rob Longerbeam 7. And then something you can expect from us this year is a team that's going to play a full game. We're going to play hard. We're going to try to play our best game. We're going to be us, stay true to us every game. And for me personally, I'm just going to see a guy who gives it his all every time he steps on the field and tries to help his team in any way.
Yeah, man. Once again, I appreciate it. I'm glad you took the time to interview with us before you go big time. And I'm looking forward to watching you this year. I'm going to watch more than one game. I usually, with Rutgers, when you're on the downhill before you got there, I didn't watch too much. But this year, I'm going to make sure I tune in because you guys, Shiano has a program going in the right direction. So I know it's only good things from here. And I know y'all trying to get back to how they were when they had Ray Rice in like the early 2000s or the late 2000s. So before the 2010. So yeah, appreciate it once again, man.
I really appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah, of course. As always, I always tell people that come on, like you always invited back no matter what. I know obviously it's gonna be a long season. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of film, a lot. So I know it's gonna be tough, but maybe after the season everything cools down, maybe even after spring, spring ball and everything, once you're done with that, get you back on and just kind of talk, overall season, how things went, like a little reunion special. But like that said, definitely appreciate you for coming on before you do go, go big time. Now we have a little bit of bragging rights saying that we have Mr. Robert Longerbeam on our podcast. So appreciate it again, as always. Like I said, definitely welcome back. And we'll definitely catch up with you soon, man.
Thank y'all. And I'll definitely be back.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Good luck this season and stay healthy.
Thank
Good
y'all.
luck.
All right, have a good one.
You as well.
All
right, bet. So that was Mr. Robert Longerbeam. Like I said, star cornerback for Rutgers, going into his sophomore year. Definitely a great young man. It was definitely a lot of fun to talk to. So appreciate him coming on, and make sure you guys definitely follow him on his Instagram and his Twitter. Keep up with him this year. Like I said, you'll see him on TV because obviously they're in the Big Ten, play a lot of big and competitive talent. So he'll definitely be out there, put it on for his team and his family, and we'll be right there supporting him.
Yes, sir. Great interview. We're about to kick up the football content. We should have another player interview coming Sunday potentially or early this week, and then we're going to just be ramping up, football content overall. Going to be dropping my top 10 for each position. I was going to do it today, but might as well start fresh August 1st on Monday. So it's going to be dropping a lot of heat and can't wait to get started. Like I said with Couch Coach yesterday, this is my favorite time of the year, best time of the year, and I'm just ready to get to the content and see how much that's going to dominate this year.
Exactly. Like you said, it's crazy. This year's been kind of moving fast. Like I said, it's about to be August 1st on Monday, and football time, everything just kind of blows by. So, it's definitely here. College football right around the corner. NFL coming along as well. Training camps happening. A lot of news coming out. So, pretty sure we'll be back on the screen. We'll be ramping up the content. Probably maybe 1 or 2 shows each week. Like you said, we're definitely hoping to have another special guest on Sunday. Another guy me and Dad kind of grew up with, played think a year or two with as well. So definitely looking forward to having him on. So definitely you guys tune in. Make sure you watch. Make sure you follow. Make sure you retweet, like all those good things. On our handles right here, what the game means to me, on Instagram and Facebook, WTG MTM podcast on Twitter as well. And then shout out to Off the Ball Network. Shout out to the crew. I'm sure we'll have some of those guys on during the football year as well. Keying up, some different ideas, some different show topics. Like I said, have these guys on, pretty much talking their ish about their teams as well. Pretty sure we'll talk some ish back about their teams too. None of our teams are good at the network anyway, so it really doesn't matter. We're all just out here just talking shit, to be honest. But
yeah,
anything that any thoughts, anything that you got before we go, Thad? I was going to do the little grind my gears segment with him, but had to keep it fun and lighthearted with Mr. Robert Longby.
Yeah.
But any last words before we head out?
Nah, man. Good little show. Just ready to get back into it. We took a little break off, but about to just continue coming with the content. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I don't know why I feel optimistic about the season, but I feel like I always feel this way. And then by mid-September, I'm like, man.
I'm opposite this year.
Obviously, I'm gonna watch every Sunday, regardless of how we're doing. And I'm gonna watch football the entire day. But it's just when your team's doing better, I don't know, something about Sundays feels better. So
y'all spent a lot of money, so it should translate into a few more wins, hopefully.
Yeah, that too. And it's betting season. I had a good year last year, my first real season, like betting every Sunday, and I did pretty well. So I think I'm gonna be back at that. So I'm looking forward to that part as well, earning some money, some free dollars.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tap in with you about that too. I didn't really do it every Sunday. I wasn't consistent, but this year I definitely got to get into it because I feel like the times I kind of did do it, I was straight, but then there was some times I was I was just throwing money away. But we're gonna lock in this year. We're gonna lock in with Kenneth and Walker. I know they sometimes be throwing out some pretty good bets, so I'll copy some of the things they got to say, and then we'll throw some on Bovada. But yeah, man, appreciate everybody for tuning in, for watching, like I said, for retweeting, liking. We'll definitely be back, hopefully either Sunday or Monday, with another player interview and some more shows, some more content, and some more fun and some action for you guys. So appreciate it again, and hope everyone stays safe. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.